seem like we feel the same. We love what we hate. We lie, but we know we can't widen.
How to understand that grips haunts everyone. Hello guys, this is Yundel, and today's share is about understanding that grips haunts everyone and nobody is exempted by that. Rich and poor experience different kinds of grips in this life journey. And I have to comfort you that nobody is exempted with that. Each and every one of us experience hardships, crying nights, lonely nights. The grief is for everyone and nobody is exempted by that. And how to understand it? Many people do not understand it, therefore many people are struggling of depression, anxiety, and different kinds of trouble with their self because they cannot accept it, because they know that what they're struggling right now, it seems so hopeless, and many times they're having difficulty to understand that. It takes a lot of maturity to understand life. Life has never been easy. Each and every one of us experience different kinds of trials, difficulties in this life journey. It is what it is. We don't like it. It's painful. It's hard. But God wants us to experience this kind of hardships. And why is that? For us to learn, for us to grow, for us to be kind to others, and for ourselves. When you're struggling with yourself right now, try not to focus everything on yourself. You have to get out of your house. You have to help others. You have to comfort others. Try to help others instead of feeling sorry for yourself. We cannot say that life is so unfair. Of course, it is unfair. Nobody is experiencing happiness all the time. Each and every one of us experience happy moments, griefs, troubles, challenges, and struggles in life. It is what it is. Whether we like it or not, we have to face that this is it. It's hurting. But we can change our mindset. We can change our attitude, how to handle those griefs we are experiencing in this life journey. And how can we really do that? How to understand this? Because many times I hear when somebody is depressed, when somebody is struggling with this, grief and hurting moments, they said, it's so unfair. I don't like it. I don't deserve this. Nobody is deserved grief, crying nights, and sleepless nights. Nobody deserves that. But we have to accept it. We have to embrace it, whether we like it or not. Why? Because of our sin, we suffer this thing. It is here for us to learn. It is here for us to grow. It is here to appreciate the good things in our life. Appreciate those happy moments. Many people are just taking for granted of their wealth, of their happiness, of their good things. Why is that? Because they don't experience grief yet. But believe me, they are going to experience that as well, because grief haunts everyone and nobody is exempted for that pain. All we have to do, we must be strong and courageous and be ready to face it with gladness, to face it and embrace it. Even we don't like it, even it's painful, even it's hurting. But always remember, weeping endures for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Yes, it is hard, but it is there for us to learn to be matured enough to understand life as it is. We have to understand that grief hurts so much. The moment we learn of our loss, our brain triggers the fight and flight response. This heightened state puts extra stress on our organs and body functions, and we would usually experience it for a few minutes. But after the bereavement, the effects of the fight or flight response can continue for a period of time. Therefore, it is very important that we must understand that each person will be affected in their own way by different kinds of grief we have experienced in our life. Death, for example, because the experience will be different for everyone, even within the same family. Everyone will have their own relationship with the person who died, their own experiences of other losses and pains, and their own levels of support from family and friends is very, very important. We must understand that depression is usually the longest and most difficult stage of grief. We have to understand that all these things, we have to embrace it. We have to accept it. But we must have the time. Yes, we must have the time to work with our feelings. We must understand that grief changes who we are. It cannot be avoided, that it can affect our personality. Personality changes, like being more irritable, less patient, and no longer having the tolerance for other people's small problem. Forgetfulness, trouble concentrating and focusing, becoming more isolated either by choice or in circumstances, feeling like an outcast. That is a natural feeling when we are going to suffer that grief. We have to understand the stages of the grieving process. It includes shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, testing, and acceptance. However, people do not always go through the process in this particular order, and some steps last longer than others. We must understand that grief because of the death will recognize as an emotionally devastating event in our life, being ranked on life event skills on the most stressful of all possible losses. Losses is a huge feeling of grief that sometimes it's very difficult to work on with ourselves. To understand that griefs enhance everyone, we must believe that this thing shall pass. Comfort yourself that whatsoever grief you are experiencing at this very moment. It shall pass, but be kind to yourself. Give time to yourself to have that grip. Cry it loud. Express and talk with a psychologist, family, and friends. Be open with your feelings. Yes, nobody is exempted with these feelings. We all can experience griefs from one thing to another. It's just different situation. But we have to accept it. It's painful, right? But we have no other choice. We have to embrace that griefs haunts everyone, and nobody is exempted for that. We must just learn how to handle those things, those feelings who conquer us at that special moment. It becomes easier for you to handle this thing when you have faith and believe in God and taking it all to Him in a word of prayer. This is Shuntel. Thank you for listening. Thank you for dropping here in my channel. I am very grateful to each and every one of you. I love you all. And bye-bye.
Like we feel the same, we